Welcome back to the Fox News Specialists. The president's love-hate relationship with the press was reignited this weekend while media elites gathered together in D.C. for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The president was in Pennsylvania giving a speech to his supporters and, of course, taking a few jabs at the press. Earlier today, during my sit-down with the president, I asked him about this ongoing feud. I assume when you say fake news, you feel they don't cover you fairly. That's what you mean by fake news?
Not all of the media. You know, I'll tell you, just that is unfair the way they cover me, because they say the media, I'm against the media. I'm not against the media. I'm against the fake media. If you look at CNN, the way they cover me, no matter what you do, it's negative, hits. So I love the media. I think the media is great. And if I do something bad, treat me badly. But they don't tell it like it is. And even on the 100 days, not to make a big deal out of it, you're going to see lots of great things happen for the next 100 days also. But we've done a lot.
All right, Kat, your thoughts on that Saturday night with the White House Correspondents' Dinner with those elite media elites with their bow ties and steaks, and then on the other side you had President Trump hanging out talking to his deplorable people?
Yeah, I would have done that too, right? He could go somewhere where everyone's going to make fun of him no matter what, or he can go somewhere where everyone's going to cheer for him no matter what. So it makes a lot of sense. The fake news thing, you know, is always funny. There have been times it's unfair, but he does kind of treat any bad news like fake news.
Yeah. And that's actually, no, that's my question. So this is my thing, Eric. I believe in fairness, and the CNN relationship is adversarial, right? I mean, that's just where they are, and I get that. They're petty and mean with him. He's petty and mean right back. You give it as good as you take it. I'm fine with that. That's a wash. But the president says here that he's okay with some media, but I would love to hear him say, you know what? That's a fair critique. Let me take a look at that policy. Yeah. If he said that, I think that this whole it's not all media thing would get more play.
Make those charges more credible.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
blowing off the Correspondents' Dinner was a brilliant strategic move, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, could you imagine if any other relationship like that was treated, where someone says, hey, we have some issues, and you just start screaming, fake news, nope, fake news, fake news, fake news. You have to listen sometimes.
All right, Cuban, when you have an adversary who's wildly unpopular, isn't it smart to continue the fight with them?
Yeah, the first 756 times, right? But at some point, you got to do your job. It was a great interview. You asked great questions, and he could have gone into substance or depth about anything. I'll give you an example. They got the budget approved through October 1st. That's his best move so far. He could be up there bragging about, look, we finally went across the aisle. We finally got things done. This is my example of me being able to bring people together and get something passed. Didn't even mention it. His finest moment, and he didn't even mention it.
But if he feels he's being treated unfairly by a group, a media group, whether it's mainstream media or print media, well, why shouldn't he continue?
Why doesn't he just carry around the world's smallest violin, too? I mean, it's crazy.
He could tweet to 100 million people, press a button, 140 characters.
That's fine, but then many of us are asking this question, Mark. Is his issue with mean media, or is it with accountability? Because that's a separate issue. If your issue is only with people that are treating you unfairly and being mean to you, that's fine. But if you have an issue with accountability, that's a problem.
I would rather have a press that is tough on the president.
Yes.
Because that is how you have them be accountable. I'd rather have them be too tough than not tough at all.
Well, but yeah, okay, Kat, but then what about the last 8 years under President Obama? We can't say the press was tough on President Obama.
And I'm saying that was bad.
They liked Obama.
That's the press's job, man. I think this is going to be the golden era of journalism. I think it's an opportunity to be, truly great journalism. Let me give you an example. We all have to do a better job with fake news because there's a lot of it out there. And part of what's happening that is good, I think, is that consumers are becoming aware that there's a lot of fake news. But, for example, in our show, we were shooting the Easter egg roll. There was a thing, we were shooting it live, and there was a thing where the president signed a kid's hat and threw it up in the air. We were shooting a thing on Twitter, and he signs the kid's hat, throws it up in the air, so it looked like he threw the hat away from the kid. And Twitter went mad, and that's what we shot on the thing. And then it turns out the kid caught the hat.
Right, but it turns out that way, and then he's able to say, look at all this fake stuff. The truth does come out.
We're 20 years into the age of the internet.
I'm just saying everybody has to be more careful now.
Well, but look, and I'm going to answer that. We're 20 years. I started a blog in 2004 because someone wrote a story about me and the Mavericks that was complete nonsense. So I put in the blog exactly what the facts were. This is the president, the leader of the free world. He has access to his website. He has access to Facebook. He has access to everything. He can do more than 40 characters. If someone is misleading, if CNN sends something wrong, well, say what's right. Put out the facts.
Your point is a good one, though. He can't just say that everything he doesn't like is fake news. There's got to be times when something he doesn't like is
you have a platform. You have the world's biggest platform with the internet to communicate around the world.
But he'll be more credible if on occasion he'll say, you know what, fair shot.
Just give us the facts.
Go. I think a lot of people would appreciate that, I think.
But he will still, he takes on the New York Times, he takes on the Washington Post, but he'll still go to them when he needs them, when he wants something, when he wants something.
Isn't that
Don't you mean the
interesting?
failing
Isn't that
New York Times?
interesting?
Is that what you-
Come
I
on,
haven't
you
ever
don't
heard
have
a
to
fake
at
New York
least
Times without failing in front of it.
Well, yeah, but okay, you're failing, but here's a story that you know.
Right, unless you're
I think
sitting
is
in front of
You
important.
are failing, but I will talk
Well,
to
look,
you.
you have to have, no, to your point, Eric,
They're
you're right.
succeeding
Every
because of
president
Donald
has
Trump.
to have a dialogue with certain parts of mainstream media.
Of course.
That's necessary.
But if he feels there's one group that just completely will never give at least a hat tip to his side of the story, why should he embrace that?
But he
Good thought.
does. I mean, he meets with the people
kind of-
that he thinks are his enemies.
Right.
And that's
We gotta
actually
go.
smart.
We're getting wrapped here. Recently